Man, speaking of Hove, we got to get into this Beyonce thing. So Beyonce made history. She is the winningest artist in Grammy history with 32 Grammys. Unfortunately for many, the narrative was still no Album of the Year award. How'd you feel about how the Album of the Year results ended up with Harry Styles as it was winning? A lot of people were frustrated that Renaissance didn't get it, and
Yeah, definitely.
just general frustration at the Grammys. Like, what was your perspective on that?
I mean, I can definitely see the frustration. I was also actively on like Twitter when everybody was talking about it. So,
Yeah.
everybody like, well, this is the time that you should be here, be there. Or something. Like Twitter was having a feels day. I think Renaissance was an amazing album.
Fantastic.
I do also think that it should have won album of the year. To me, I can't give a full opinion because I didn't listen to those other projects, so I can't also say that they don't deserve that.
Right.
I'm like, that's not my fan base. I don't listen to that music. I never really listened to that music.
Right.
Not to say that I won't, but I think overall, I can't be a judge of that. I know that I truly and thoroughly enjoyed Renaissance. I know I'm trying to go to the tour. Those songs are still in rotation. But yeah, I don't think it would be fair to say that somebody else didn't deserve it because I'm a Beyoncé fan.
Yeah. No, and that's a good perspective to have because the stands, who I think a lot of them did not listen to Harry Styles.
I've never listened to Harry Styles' album to say, hey, he didn't deserve this.
Which is fine, but that for everyone. But I always just try to tell people, don't denounce something that you haven't heard just because you like something better. My boy Cameron Hay made a great point. Renaissance, as it was, and Bad Bunny's Un Verano Sin Ti, they all checked all the boxes.
Right.
They were all viable candidates. And at the end of the day, we know what the Grammys is about. We know that they're not going to give the proper recognition to black music that deserves things. Yes, we have the rap category. We should sweep the rap category. We've had the Macklemore years and all that, but that's something we should sweep. But we also got people who do more and aim higher, and it was good to see the presence of Mary J. Blige in those overall categories. Khaled was in a couple of them. Right. Beyonce was in them. But I unfortunately wasn't surprised. It's you're disappointed, but you're not surprised. That's just what happens to us.
I think I wasn't. I mean, for me, I don't even look at it as a us thing when it comes to that. In particular, I just think, for example, I've never heard Harry Styles' music, but I've heard his name more times than I can count this past year.
He's out here. He's doing his thing.
Right? Even we were talking about Drake's last album where Drake mentioned him 5-6 times throughout that whole album.
Yeah.
Right? I've never listened to Harry Styles, but hey, there's people listening to him.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, I have a plethora of friends that love Bad Bunny. That also was on Twitter hey, Bad Bunny should have won.
Yeah.
I know some songs. Can I articulate a whole album and say hey, well, Bad Bunny should have won or Harry, So I think ultimately it went down to not only the wider fan base, I guess, but whatever else factors play into that.
Yeah. That's really what it is. One thing I did like was the hip hop 50th anniversary tribute performance. They had everybody up there: Black Thought, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, LL Cool J, Ice-T, The Lox was up there, Lil Baby, Glorilla, Lil Uzi Vert. They had so many people. The Big Boy, that was really dope. For an award show that people feel doesn't give hip hop and rap its just due, to give us that look in our 50th anniversary, I was like, okay, Grammys, I don't always get it right, but that's something you should do. You should give us that platform.
Right.
And we showed out. 13-minute performance. So many, Busta Rhymes up, so many people that they got.
That.
It was dope. It was really, I genuinely enjoyed that. And I was kind of ambivalent to the show. I had to watch it because I had to cover it for work. But that's a moment where I looked up and was rocking. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that like the whole performance was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think what I wish though is I wish that the transition of the time period
I was gonna get into that.
was like better because it's like
we went from the Locks to Lil Baby.
yeah, like you went from the Locks to Lil Baby.
Skipped like 15 years.
And it's like, damn, well, what happened to like all these early years with like Dipset and like Wheezy.
Yeah,
and
Ross was
Ross.
there. Ross was in the goddamn performance,
Yeah, but it's like
you could have got
these
Meek,
are, you know,
Wale.
Yeah, right.
Like,
so I'm thinking about like early 2010s. You know, like Meek Mill when like he first came out, he performed my freshman year of college at LIU Brooklyn, 2011. You know, like that's a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like the Migos era, the Rich Homie Quan era, like the Young Thug era. Like obviously, you know, free Thug.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I just feel like a few timelines was like missing. You know,
It was
but I'm
gap.
definitely happy that like Baby and Uzi got that platform. Like you know, like those are two of the hottest out currently.
Yeah.
You know,
Lil Baby doing freestyle at the Grammys.
Yeah,
that's a moment.
And he did freestyle.
That's a moment.
And he did freestyle.
Because you would assume like he would do one of the more and freestyle is like known. It's one of his cult
I
classic
just wish
hits,
the transition into freestyle was better. Like
I agree.
The like song prior to that was just like, damn, how you just jump into freestyle like right after this?
Yeah.
You know, but I was definitely hyped when Uzi came out. Definitely hyped when Uzi came out. I think like that was a big moment too.
Yeah.
You know, because that song is
it's hard.
That song got it right now.
Yeah.
It got it.
My thought is that they probably asked a lot of those people to be there, and they probably didn't want to do it. Which
probably
on the one hand sucks because hip hop 50th anniversary, we want all of our generation represented. But I also understand like standing your ground against the Grammys. The Grammys have done Nicki Minaj dirty. Drake has felt slighted by them. Cole, Kendrick was there. Like, you know, it was like I get both sides, and I agree the transition was weird. I'm not gonna like fully complain because overall I did enjoy it, but it was definitely weird. I agree. Right. It was very weird. Kendrick Lamar, gentleman sweeps the rap categories with the exception of best melodic rap performance. Future, Drake, Thames, they won for Wait For You. Wasn't really surprised by that either.
Wait For You deserved that.
It absolutely.
But shout outs to K-Dot on all other categories. He deserved that and more.
It's his album is very polarizing for people. A lot of people feel like it wasn't deserving, but for me, it's like, as we've seen with the Grammys, if Kendrick is nominated, he's winning everything. We saw it with Damn. We saw it with The Pimp a Butterfly. And I think of that category, while I did like the Future album more, I didn't expect them to give Future best rap album, which sucks.
Nah, I think for me, Kendrick deserved those. You know, I think what the album did for me and like a lot of other people last year, you know, it was a powerful album.
It was really good.
It was very like powerful, and it was vulnerable, and it was raw. And I think when I listen to music personally, like I like to see the transition in the artist and the transition and how they grow. You know, a lot of times when you think about music, you think about fashion, you think about any creative field, honestly. Yeah. You know, people always want you to be like how you started. You know, and I realize that most times, like the way you started is most times a stepping stool. Right? And naturally, we grow as people, right? We grow in our mindset, we grow in our habits, we grow in what we like, what we don't like. Things that may have been cool to us 5-10 years ago may not be cool to us now. And we also build the confidence to tell our stories better. Yeah. Right? So when I like hear songs like Mama I'm Sober, you know, like those hit.
Count me out.
Because like
Mirror.
this is vulnerability. This is like vulnerability Jay-Z showed in 444 when he's speaking about his mom. Right? This is like vulnerability that Kanye did on 808s and Heartbreak. And it just shows growth. It shows character. And I think depending on how we listen to music, a lot of people are in a I just want to turn up,
Yeah.
rah party, this and that phase.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to music for context, for depth, for understanding, and for growth, then this album was perfect.
Yeah. No, I would never say it wasn't a good album. So I really wasn't surprised that to see it win, and I agree with pretty much everything you said. More so, just look again. It's a situation of people wanting their favorites to win, like Future being nominated, or the Pusha T fans, Pusha T making shirts
and Pusha
for it out.
Pusha, Future,
Yeah,
fantastic albums. Pusha album was probably my favorite album, right? Because it was so raw and like every song hit, like every beat, the production, everything hit, and and Pusha gonna always talk his shit, but it was like this way was like I'm luxury shit talking too, Future, I feel like Future like evolves naturally every album project that he like does, like not to say that that's expected from Future, but like I think he's mastered a way of how he likes to do music, and I think it works extremely well. And I think, Future is somebody that we're gonna always check for.
Facts. He's bigger than a Grammy.
Like he's bigger than like
we don't need a
Future
Grammy to
is
validate
like,
him.
He's like stamped.
Yeah.
All of them are stamped.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
But Future is like Future's Future.
Yeah. That's it.
Like that, like there's no other way to like say it.
Simple as that.
Granted, there's no other like K-Dot to me either.
Yeah, absolutely not.
There's no other Pusha T to me either.
Yeah. Yeah,
like they're all unique artists.
Yeah.
They're all unique in the way that they tell their stories. So yeah.
Yeah. The In Memoriam tribute, that song Quavo made for Takeoff, like it hit me in the feels when I first heard it, and then just seeing it live, seeing him hold up Takeoff's chain like that, it really it was heavy. It was very very heavy. Admittedly though, it was tough to not see Offset up there. We still don't really know what happened. They reportedly got into a scuffle after the performance or before the performance that night. And I'm never gonna judge people's grief. I'm never gonna get in people's business. We're not entitled to know what happened. But for me, as a fan of them, it just sucks that they couldn't even reconcile to do a tribute to Takeoff, because that is Quavo's nephew, but that's Offset's cousin too. Like, and the Grammys wanted Offset up there. So as far as we know, Quavo was not with it. Yeah. So whatever happened between them and Quavo, it's something that he can't look past, which sucks. Like that really sucks.
I guess we don't really know the ins and outs of like what happened, how it happened, why it happened.
Yeah.
And there's also like a lot of he say, she say on social media.
Exactly.
But I can agree. Like I would have loved to see both of them up there. To me, like we're used to the Migos. Right. Granted, we love each of them as individuals.
Yeah.
I do think, once again, like everybody has their own way of grieving, their own way of dealing with problems and issues, and I'm not gonna also say that everything is reconcilable at a certain point. I think, and I'm hopeful that they'll like eventually be good, but I don't think a performative
reconciliation
for the Grammys,
that's a good point,
is the thing. Like yes, we would have loved to see it, and I'm pretty sure Offset would have loved to be a part of that moment also. But I think as family, sometimes family need time.
That's facts.
And sometimes I like eventually they'll be good. When like you still hear Offset speak about it, why would y'all think I'm gonna fight my brother? Like, I think their family goes through things, and I think once again be like, because of who they are, a lot of things are put in the mainstream, or a lot of things are like assumed. But I think they'll get it right when it's time to.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they both understand that life is short.
Yeah.
And that they both just lost one of the closest people in their life, and ultimately the third piece of their puzzle.
The one who was pushing them
Right.
to really rap.
You know?
He's like Takeoff was the one rapping before any of them. So that's a good point, though. I didn't look at it that way. So that's a good like performative reconciliation. While it would have been good for us fans,
Yeah, like
what would
it'd
it do
have been
for
good
them?
for us, but is it good for them?
That's a good
You
point.
know,
That's a really
once
good
again,
point.
like I always like to think about the person.
That's
you
a
know,
really good point.
Granted, I want to see a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
You know, that don't
Yeah.
mean that it should.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So yeah.
It's a good perspective. That's a really good perspective.
Shake his head.